Hi, welcome to Liberation Tarot. This is Leah. You might notice that my video is looking differently. That is because I am abandoning all production because my computer and phone can no longer handle being used for video editing or video transferring. So I'm sort of down to a nice bare bones version, and we'll just be focusing on the tarot readings. So thank you for bearing with me. Sorry about the change, but life has changed, so here we are. Today is a reading for the last quarter moon that is from the 14th of May, 2020, and it's until the 22nd of May, which is the next new moon. And the moon is moving from Aquarius into Pisces, so a very watery time, good time to get in touch with the psyche. And in the last quarter moon, so the moon is shrinking after the full moon, and it's a time for releasing and letting go and relaxing, and it's a little more gentle and approachable and conscious than that period of waxing. The waning period is just a little easier. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to use the Eco Tarot deck, which is a new deck that I have. It's really interesting, and it focuses on our relationship to the earth and the climate. And I'll be asking 3 questions. What are we becoming collectively more aware of? How do we deal with and heal these issues that we're becoming collectively more aware of? And what must we release in order to deal with and heal these challenges? So what are we becoming collectively more aware of? How do we deal with and heal these issues? And what must we release to do so? Calling on the spirit guides of all the beings in all of the world to come together, and those that have all of our best interests in mind to come forward and provide us with clarity and guidance right now under this waning last quarter moon. We'd like to know, what are we becoming collectively more aware of? How do we deal with and heal this issue or these issues? And what must we release to do so? So I use this deck a little differently than other decks, largely because the Pips cards are fairly standard. So this is the viento, the air, or the swords. They're windmills. And they deal with very specific climate issues. So we are going to just focus on the mostly the court cards and the major arcana, but in this case it's all court cards. So what are we becoming collectively more aware of? And I pulled La Poeta del Viento, the poet of air, or wind. And in this case, that equates to the Page of Swords. So in this deck, very awesomely, each of the court cards is associated with a badass female environmentalist activist. So in the case of La Poeta del Viento, we have Rebecca Solnit, a journalist, essayist, environmentalist, historian, and art critic. Has written, among other publications, that's what she's written. Over the past 2 decades, her inventive and accessible style has found a readership across the wide public to academic spectrum. Solnit's emphasis has been on the political qualities of art and the environment, the artistic elements of nature and politics, and the meanderings of humans in and out of those combinations. A quote from Rebecca Solnit is, "Part of the solution to climate change is that we don't need to rush around. We don't need to consume as much. We don't need to move around as much, because what's up close can be pretty magnificent. A sense of wonder can be a revolutionary tool." So what are we becoming collectively more aware of? The wonders that are right around us. So pages, or poets in this case, are all about wonder and awe, and the wonder of the truth, and the wonder of playfulness, and recognizing truth and honesty and beauty. And part of that is recognizing where there's a lot of bullshit and there's a lot of rushing around and a lot of being stretched thin. So becoming aware that we don't need to engage in that, and we can let go of that and live a more honest and clear, and in some ways simple, life, and have that be revolutionary. And then, how do we deal with and heal this issue? I got La Jefa de la Tierra, the Earth Boss. I also got a slew of climate-related challenges and solutions under it, which I'm not going to go into. I just recommend getting this deck because they're fascinating. But yes, so dealing with issues around energy, and solutions around solar, dealing with issues around air pollution, and solutions around turbines and reusable energy, and dealing with issues with our earth and pollution in our earth, erosion, things like that, and healing through the earth. And then how we deal with these things is La Jefa de la Tierra, which is it's the equivalent of the King of Pentacles. So dealing with it involves a lot of grounding into the earth, recognizing the importance of our physical world, and really connecting deeply with that to such a level that you're actually able to convey through your own lifestyle the importance of the earth and our connection to it, and rejuvenating and regenerating our precious and important natural resources. So in this book, the Jefa de la Tierra is Esperanza Martinez, a biologist with expertise in environmental auditing, a lawyer and member and founder of Asociación Ecológica in Ecuador. Since its founding 20 years ago, Acción Ecológica, sorry, my Spanish is no bueno, has played a lead role in defending Ecuador's Amazon rainforest against oil exploitation, logging, and mining. Since the 90s, they have supported a landmark multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against Texaco, accusing the oil giant of polluting the rainforest land and water and sickening the indigenous people and peasant farmers who live there. She was the coordinator of the Observatory for Eco-Political Development of the Amazon area and is co-founder of Oil Watch, an international network of organizations from the South set up to defend delicate ecosystems and the ancient rights of the indigenous population against the impact of the extraction of petroleum. She successfully pushed the introduction of nature as a subject of rights and other environmental and human rights protection. So obviously, Esperanza Martinez exemplifies a really deep connection to the earth and willingness to fight for it and fight against the greed and consumerism and corporatism that constantly threatens our earth, and the need to rebuild our connection to it as a way to heal the current disconnection and as a way to approach truth, the truth that was spoken of with La Poeta del Viento. And then what must we do, what must we release to do so? And I picked La Poeta del Fuego, which associates with the Page of Wands. And in order to sort of get into that idea, first I'll say that what's coming up is letting go of, how would I say, sort of cocky, flying by the seat of our pants ambition, which sometimes the Page of Wands can exemplify, this sort of like individualistic playfulness that can be a little egotistical, like any of the poetas can. And actually, when you think about it, we have poetas on both sides. What are we becoming more aware of, and what must we release? So releasing some of our childishness around this, our selfishness, our egos, that root us in and make us do stupid, selfish things that have no long-term vision or accountability to the greater collective. And how do we deal with this? The middle card, La Jefa de la Tierra, is like that grounded boss, the earth boss, that is wise and connected and has put in the work and put in the time to be able to effectively lead, and mostly lead by doing and being rather than showing or telling. Whereas the poetas are a little more immature. So we're recognizing a lot of our immaturity and the ways we need to slow down, the ways we can be too quick to act, because our quickness often has led us to our disasters. Corporatism could be considered a very rash action on a very large scale that's having very grand long-term consequences. So if we can slow down, like with the earth suit, La Tierra, and put the work in and connect to the earth and build up our skills and really prove that we deserve to have a say in this and deserve to be leaders, rather than telling everyone else what to do. And there are some people that are very much there. We have so many natural leaders in this world already that we can be turning to, that are already las jefas de la tierra. And so we can be turning to those wise ones, as well as finding that earth mystic within ourselves and growing our relationship to the earth. So I'm not going to actually read La Poeta del Fuego because I'm trying to keep these short, but I highly recommend getting the Eco Tarot deck. It's, I think, really helpful for getting out of just focusing on our internal worlds and really focusing on our relationship to the climate and what we can do to help the climate and the earth find a balance again. I mean, the earth will bounce back whatever happens to us. The earth is way powerful beyond us. Nonetheless, we got to earn our right to be here, and we got to do something in order to keep being here, because we're threatening not only so many different species, but threatening ourselves. And we could be rejuvenating and regenerating the earth like so many people have figured out how to do for time immemorial, rather than degrading the earth and making it hard for us and so many others to live here in a way that's healthy and sustainable. So yeah, let's get in touch with our earth bosses inside of us and get outside and build up our relationship with the earth and work together from that leadership stance, recognizing our own leadership and leaderships of all others, and maybe not act so in such rash ways when it comes to the climate. Act with some urgency because it's important, but not flying by the seat of our pants, and making sure we consult with all parties, especially those that are being the most affected, the most negatively impacted by climate change and by land degradation, the communities of color that have been excluded from the table and made to bear the brunt of so many of the negative impacts. Like, we got to be bringing everyone to the table right now and listening to those who have really deep ancestral knowledge around this stuff and find our way forward in ways that are sustainable and ways that are equitable. So, yeah, thank you, and I hope you enjoy the relaxing time that can tend to be the waning moon period. And yeah, take care of yourself as we keep working towards taking care of the earth. All right. Thanks for being here. Bye.